EduTech, once again, this is our third year at EduTech, so we're really excited to be here, and I appreciate every one of you for taking the time to be with us. So, just to quickly, for about a minute, about what Martial Logic is, or the Martial Logic HRIS, and I will then introduce the panel. So, the first slide that we've got here is just a little intro. We're going to go into the next slide, which is what Martial Logic is. The Martial Logic HRS, as you can see in that triangle, the core HR is at the center of the offering of the platform. And then you've got the payroll, the workforce management, including advanced rostering, etc., as well as the LMS is what completes the HRIS. So these are the four, if you like, high-level modules of the platform. In terms of how we offer the platform, you can take the whole Martial Logic suite. As you can see in the slide, you've got two offerings, the A and B. In Model A, you purchase all of them, and they would integrate then with your school information system, no matter what that system is. We already integrate with about 4, and we always adding more and more systems. The second, in Model B, what we are trying to highlight there, that you would take the core HR from us, and then you would use, if you prefer, your own complementary modules, such as the workforce management, the payroll, or the learning management system. So that's how we provide our offering to schools. We have about over 100 schools now. We've been selling to schools for a good 8 years now, and the schools make up pretty much almost half of our revenue. The other half come from aged care and NDIS, and then maybe 20%, the remainder 20% from another sort of miscellaneous 10 or 15 other industries. So schools are a big part of what we do in terms of R&D and business development and marketing and pretty much everything that we do. And we love working with schools. So if I go to the next slide, we've got the awesome panel that I'd like to quickly introduce. We start from here. Greg, who is a founder and the managing director at Payroll Metrics, the partner that we work with on the payroll and the workforce management. It's an awesome Australian company. It's the best company we've ever partnered with, and we're really honored to have Greg with us to talk to us about compliance-related, pay-related compliance. We've got the awesome Emma from GoOne, our partner on the LMS, although we can integrate with multiple LMSs, but GoOne is a partner that we work very closely with, and we're honored to have Emma representing GoOne to talk about compliance-based learning in the GoOne platform to schools. She's part of curating that content for schools, and she can talk to us about that. Then we've got Reese, who is one of the leading privacy lawyers in the country, that will talk to us about compliance-based, for example, things like the use of AI and, publishing policies and, for example, your compliance when it comes to reporting any incident pertaining to data breach and so forth. That's the firm that Reese is part of and founded. That's all they do, privacy and nothing else. Then we've got awesome 3 clients, starting from Bree next to Reese, and Julia Ryan and Mandy at the end there. They are HR leaders from 3 schools, starting with Southport in Queensland and Camberwell Girls Grammar and Trinity Grammar Kew, Victoria. I'm sorry. I was just trying to test, the situation there. Okay, so I'm honored to have everybody here helping me on this panel. I will stop talking in a minute. Believe me, you're going to hear from them, but I just wanted to frame what we are doing. So the next slide is the compliance, and that will take us into why we want to talk to the panel. So the 4 pillars of compliance in our platform is clearly the checks, the learning, and then you've got the policies, and then the pay. And these are the 4 areas that we're going to talk about. So if we go quickly to the first one, and that's I'm sorry, I just can't see. It's too small, the slide there. They're using that's better, thank you. Okay, which is like quarter of the screen, and I've got glasses on and all that. So the checks, the first pillar is the checks within the compliance. And that's during the pre-employment, meaning the recruitment workflow and onboarding, as well as during employment. So I would like to get our clients to talk about that aspect of it. If I start with Mandy, if you can talk about the checks in particular within the Martial Art platform, and what you like about it and how you feel it's working or not working.
One of my favorite things with the compliance module is pre-employment. We can do our National Police criminal history checks, our working rights Vivo checks. It's all automatic throughout that process. Things like working with children checks, your first aid, CPR, all your registrations and qualifications, depending on your school, your childcare centres, etc., can all be tracked pre-employment, and it automatically drops into the system during the onboarding process from the candidate. And then that check happens automatically based on the role-based position, where the expiries and renewals will remind you from that module. So it's very easy to use.
Awesome. Mandy, thank you. Julia, can I maybe get you to speak to the reminder system, the SMS and the email and the multiple layers of reminders, if you please can talk to that.
Yeah, so you get, I guess, the compliance items that are set up or created as part of your onboarding process. And then you go into your renewal process with each of those compliance items. So some of them might be 12 months, some might be 3 years, and you can go in and really automate and create whatever you want it to look like. So you can set up your own templates, what the emails look like. For some of ours, there'll be links to external training that they need to go and do as well. So the employer will get a reminder with the email link there. They go in, complete the training, then upload the certificate. And then we go in the back end and double check it to make sure that it's correct. So you can set the reminders as frequently as you want them. And then you can also have a reminder go to the manager as well, which we do for when things have expired.
That's awesome. Bree, if I can get you to please maybe talk about, as maybe talked about the dashboard, but also how you assign your compliance requirements based on the role as opposed to the individual person, which is a lot more sensible, and you can therefore track against the if you like, the mandates that you have as a compliance manager to make sure that anybody with those roles they need to be compliant with those 5, 6, 7, 8 things. If you can speak to that, please.
Sure. So teachers obviously have to have teaching registrations. So admin staff might have to have working with children's. I'm at a school in Victoria, so it might be slightly different from state to state in terms of what requirements are needed from a compliance perspective. But you can group your staff or your positions and assign your compliance to each of those roles. Each staff member has their own logon, so they can see their compliance, and at any point they can go in and check when things are going to expire, and they can also export if they want a copy of whatever documentation they need, be it be a first aid certificate. If they're doing something external to work and they need a copy of it, they can go in and export it as well. And we set up obviously reminders exactly the same as the other schools are doing, and it's really good because you can set the different timeframes and things like that, and the staff have full visibility of it. And then as things are expired, that's when you escalate it to managers, and you can assign your conversations or whoever you want to see those documents at any point.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'll move to the next slide now, or the next pillar of the Martial Logic compliance. Just the last a few words about this. What we've got on the screen are just examples. No matter what the requirements is, I mean, we work with even multiple industries, so some of these checks you probably even haven't heard of, and we probably didn't hear about ourselves. So it's extremely adaptable. No matter what that check is, it can be normalized within the compliance, so they all appear as just another compliance item, what we call in your library. So you can build that specific workflow for it. No matter what the automation is, what the integration is, it just becomes another item. That's what we're really good at, to normalize all the behaviors, no matter how different they are, under that same roof, which is that reminder system, that workbench, if you like, and that dashboard. So I'll move now to the next pillar, which is the training base. These are also some of the very obvious, if you like, modules that, from what we know, all our clients use. But again, it could be a myriad of different courses that you can access from the Go On platform. I would love for Emma to comment on what I've got here on the stream, but also to talk perhaps about the integration with Martial Logic.
Yeah, so Go1 is the largest content aggregator of compliance and professional development globally. The way that it works is that we have content providers who build the courses and they partner with us and we publish them onto the platform. So we are integrated with Martial Logic. We're very happy to be partners. The way that that works is that we have 100,000 pieces of content that you can access by logging into Martial Logic, and you can see the Go1 courses through that window. So there's no extra logging on, there's no extra windows. The admin who is managing the compliance content for the schools can assign the courses, and you can also re-enroll. So if you need to do the compliance content once a year, you can reassign automatically that way.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Emma. Also, you mentioned something before when I was talking to you what you loved about the integration. You said the fact that when you want to engage with the course as an employee from the employee self-service, once you've been invited to complete that course, you don't need to know about the Go On platform. You click on the course, engage with it, and it pops up straight away. We log you in, we create the user, whatever needs to be done. You just straight in, and is that correct?
Yes, so you'll have access to 100,000 courses. We have a specific library for education that we've created as a separate vertical. And as you log into Martial Logic, you just click on the course and it will be there. So you won't be logging into Go1, it will be through the Martial Logic window.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Emma. Maybe we'll keep moving. And now we want to talk about policy. The policy is very interesting. So the policy is very, it's been around from day one when we launched the compliance module. But what's different, and what I want to talk to you about that, is it's just to be you develop, if you like, and maintain the policy somewhere else, whatever system you might have. It could be just you don't have a system, Word document on your drive or whatever, and you have it approved by various people. Once you've got a final version, in case you're updating it, for example, a policy, so you do it somewhere else, and then you bring the final version, you upload it within our compliance, and then you can then send it and it becomes a compliance item, and you assign it to roles and do. So that's been around like everything else, fantastically working. But what's different about what we are doing, we've made a decision that we want to create a micro document management system within the platform for the compliance manager and the various execs or board members, whoever are working on a policy, to develop the policies within the platform. So the platform and the compliance is aware of the versioning control, the versioning of those documents, and it's a lot more smooth. So you've got a full workflow for the approval as well. So multiple people are working on maybe updating that policy. Now version 21 is the final version. It gets locked in, and that becomes the version for that policy. So then the next pack that you're going to send for new employees will pick up that policy, that version. So we're really excited about launching that feature. So we're going to move on now. That's the slide. The next slide is the pay. I'd like to bring Greg to talk about. He's one of those very rare experts when it comes to payroll in Australia. We're really honored to have him. He's got 40-something years of payroll experience. He's one of the pioneers as well. He's built the two payroll companies. This is his second company, and we're really honored to have him. So I want Greg to take it in any angle that he wants. I just said to him I wanted to talk about compliance from the pay point of view and the risk, therefore, to those businesses. So, Greg, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much. Actually, I think you asked me what kept me up at night.
Yes. What is up the night? Yes.
Look, I can tell you what doesn't so much, and that's system uptime, cybersecurity, and AI. But what does is that the risk that payroll process can appear to be compliant, but nevertheless the underlying outcome for employees may not be. Now, what am I talking about there? I'm really talking about the growing compliance challenge about whether salaried employees are being appropriately remunerated for the work they actually perform. So in education, schools can usually explain why they pay teachers and what they pay teachers, but some are still building the visibility needed to show how actual workload aligns with assumptions behind that remuneration. So that makes it as much a governance and evidence challenge as it is payroll. Other sectors, including construction, mining, transport, healthcare, already use workforce management systems to monitor fatigue and excessive hours. Because excessive hours can create safety, sustainability, and compliance risks. Education operates differently. I understand most teachers are paid salaries, and there's an expectation that their hours will vary. But the underlying governance questions are familiar. Who's carrying the heaviest workload? Are workloads equitable across teams? Are some employees consistently working beyond reasonable assumptions? And are we avoiding well-being and compliance risks over time? So my proposition is that payroll and workforce management could do more than just calculate pay. They should help schools to measure actual work patterns, identify workforce trends and compliance risks early, and supply a more equitable allocation of duties.
So business intelligence, in effect, a data that can be coming out of it as well.
And deeper analysis of the tasks and work that people are performing.
Yeah.
So provide evidence so when schools need to demonstrate sound governance and compliance, they can, and regulators are looking for it. So if I had to summarize in one sentence, what keeps me up is that there's a gap between what employers believe is happening and what's actually happening, and whether they can demonstrate alignment when asked.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So the role of payroll and workforce management technology is to close that gap before it becomes a problem for employees, the schools, and governing boards. So let me just close with a statement that in payroll, the absence of complaints is not proof of compliance. The ability to demonstrate compliance is.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Greg. Appreciate it. The next slide is for our friend Reese, a renowned privacy lawyer in Australia. I've had the honor of working with him on a project, and him and his team are awesome. Reese, I've got these 3 points here. I hope that you find them on the money here, and if any of them is not relevant, you don't need to talk about it. You can pick any of them, as a matter of fact, but it is there on the screen, everyone. So Reese, I'll the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. You also asked me the question what keeps me up at night, and apart from my 3 and 6-year-old, this issue, to the same point earlier, is we're seeing a very widening gap between all organizations in all industries, but particularly education as well, around use of technology and their understanding of how it's meant to be used and the consequences that are unforeseen. And so I think everyone's aware of the Canvas incident a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That rocked the nation, in fact, rocked the world across the education sector.
Yeah.
And I think that opened everybody's eyes up to what we all thought we knew would happen if we had a data breach, and what indeed did happen. And I think in that particular case, what threw everybody off was the fact that you had 9,000 education institutions all impacted everywhere all at once. And it was involving a third-party supplier, so very much out of people's control. And I think the learning lesson on all of this, and it doesn't just apply to data privacy, data breaches, or indeed AI as a whole separate conversation, which we can have another time, is as organizations, as business managers within your organizations, it's understanding how do you actually close that gap between compliance and how something would work in practice. And we were chatting earlier around the 100,000 courses that you can access. And I think that's actually a big piece of it, is getting access easily to information that everyone can use all at once, that applies and that is up to date and relevant.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Reese. We've got 1 minute left. I need 10 seconds to explain to you what's on that banner here for business managers, principals, HR and IT folks that are in this crowd. If you were to be willing to spend 2 minutes with our people on the booth to learn more about the platform, you can get a Frank Green bottle. As you know, they're worth about $75 retail money. And but then I would like to does anybody has any question? I can take maybe one question or two, perhaps. We're running out of time, but I hope that you've enjoyed it, guys. Just, you've only got 20 minutes. I wanted to attack the compliance. It's such a big beast, as you know, as a topic. I wanted to come at it from different angles and bring people who have the expertise and experience to talk about it. So we end up spending only 2 minutes per topic. So you might argue we're a bit shallow, but if you want to have a really in-depth conversation, we would love to hear from you. You know where to find us, and we've got a major booth just over there. If you walk over there, we would love to talk to you more. Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.